And we're back with some more X4. It's been a while since we did an update here, but this here is our new scrap factory design. You keep forgetting how huge these things are until you go in and actually look at them. But this design I am really liking. I think that guy's dropping off... What are you dropping off, cargo?
Vanguard.
Oh, they might actually be exporting stuff. Never mind. So this is the lovely little design. It probably looks better from the map view. 1 second. Actually, no, it doesn't look better, but it's easier to understand. Very simple. Covered this design the last day, but basically scrap processor, and then there's 3 recyclers sort of strapped onto it. And then below it, we've got the solar panels, some storage back here, solid storage, and then product storage. And then over here, we've got all of the housing. So this is basically a module. This section from here to the left is all one module, and that does everything you need without the worry about anything else. In fact, it's just been extended on and on and on, and yeah, so like this. Copy sequence, and then you paste it on to the end. And we just keep expanding it out. We'll probably go backwards as well when the time comes. But yeah, pretty handy build. I'm quite liking it. And not only that, we have 4 of them being built at the moment, and they go up pretty fast. This is the other one. As you'll notice, it's kind of identical. So yeah, easy peasy. Works just fine. Problem is, it's taking a little bit of time to build, so we're going to have to fill in some other things in the meantime. Now, one of the problems with building multiple factories is managers. Now, this manager here is a good management skill. Let's go find a trader for it. Here we go. And if we go under this trader and we look at their behavior, and go down to the bottom, you can see their current behavior. This stuff is all basically set. They're assigned to this factory, and all of the details in here are basically assigned by the factory they're linked to. So if the factory needs to sell or buy stuff, the factory fills in all the details here. The manager does it technically. But down here is the max gate distance. This is really the most important stat. This determines how far your trader can go to get resources. And max gate distance is a bit of a... I don't want to say a misnomer, but it's just a little bit unintuitive. Max gates is actually per hex. So, for example, let's just take this sector here. If you were in Grand Exchange and you have a factory there and your trader can only jump 2 gates, it can actually go from here to Grand Exchange. That doesn't count because it's inside the same hex. And then it can jump from there to Black Hole Sun. So that's 1 gate. And then it can go from Black Hole Sun to Black Hole Sun IV. And then from there it can go, well, to Second Contact or Windfall. So basically someone in here with only 2 jumps range can jump 1, 2, 3, 4 squares technically, because it's done by hexes, which will confuse you the first time you encounter that weirdness. But the important bit is, yes, max gate jump distance. And that is determined by the amount of management skill on the manager of the factory itself. So the factory manager is what determines the jump distance. The problem is getting a 4-star management guy, never mind a 5, is really hard. Well, there is a couple of ways to do it. One of the ways, missions. There are several missions you can get your hands on. None, of course, available at the moment to demonstrate it. Sometimes you can find them in subsections of a mission. So, for example, there's a 1-star group management. That's terrible. What you really want is a 3-star one. That's also a misnomer. A 3-star one is applied to someone who has 3 stars and will up them to 4, but they are much harder to find, and a 4-star that ups them to 5 is very hard to find. But then, Reddit came to the rescue. This 2-year-old Reddit post by expired lettuce number 42... Do yourself a favor, if you ever have to put numbers at the end of your name, just don't. Come up with something else. It's just the moment you start putting numbers in, it sounds so wonky-dunk. Anyway, this gives a detailed guide on how to train up your managers. It's actually fairly straightforward. Over here, we have 2 tiny stations. They are, let's just say they're not exactly complicated. They are a single dock and a storage container. That's it. We use the large storage container, but that's not actually necessary. A small one will do, tiny even. You just need something that can contain regular items. And then across from it is an identical one. That's it, and they're as close as you can get them to each other. Then all you do, inside the logical overview, we have set up 4 things to be traded. Computronic substrate, plasma conductors, scanning arrays, and silicon carbide. Now, the reason I selected all of these is, well, we don't trade them anywhere else on our network, and as well as that, they're incredibly expensive. Whether or not the expensiveness matters or not, who knows. And then what we have is a bunch of ships set up to trade between them. This is the first one here. I call them the Bouncy Moiras. There's 4 of them, and if we go under behavior, we can see the very simple thing. Basically, it goes to this station, it will sell this station, Computronic substrate. Then, it will stay at the same station and buy Computronic substrate. It sells it for the minimum price, buys it back for the maximum price, And then after it's done that, it swaps over to this station over here, and it sells it, the Computronic substrate, for the minimum price, and then it buys it back for the maximum price. So it basically bounces back and forth. Buy and sell here, then take it over here, sell and buy, then it flips over here, sells and buys, sells and buys, sells and buys. And it just bounces back and forth. This is literally a repeat order. It requires a 1-star pilot to do, and that's all you do. And we've set it up for 4 different items that are really expensive. Whether or not the expense counts, I don't know. Listed in the Reddit post, it says it should count, but honestly, no one really seems to care or notice. And at the same time, this is actually so efficient, you don't really care. In fact, let's transfer a 4-star pilot over here real quick. What we have done here is we have transferred in someone with 0 management skill, just to demonstrate the power of this. And then what we'll do is we will just let time run. Then we're just going to let time run forward a bit. And what will happen is these ships will land, they will do their trade back and forth. There's like a 5-second delay between trades, and oh, look, they've already gained about a third of a management point already. That's how fast it is that they gain it. Now, do be aware, it slows down as they go up. The way this seems to work is there's a bit of an element of chance, let's just say. Every time they perform a trade, depending on the value of the trade, they have a percentage chance of rolling a dice to see if they upgrade. As in, they get better at trading, or management, whatever you want to call it. However, the chances of them getting to roll a dice is also dependent on how high their management skill is. So the more skilled up they are, the less chances they get to roll, or the harder it is for them to roll. I'm not sure of the exact mechanics. All I know is the higher you get them up, like getting them from level 1 to level 2, easy. Even getting up to level 4 is actually pretty handy. Getting all the way to maxed out level 5, that's a little bit trickier. Now, 1 second while I want to move over to a map view so we can speed this a bit. Can we? Actually, never mind. We can speed up the time using the SATA device. And oh, look at that. They're almost at level 1. That is incredible. Oh, yep, they're at level 1 already. And that's pretty much it. You leave them sit there for a while, and oh, they even got their morale up a bit. And if we check on this guy over here, they're not quite at level 4, but it's going to take them a while to get that last level 4 star. I'm thinking farming level 4 is super easy. Trying to get to level 5, really not impossible, but very, very difficult. So I think you're better off planning everything around getting level 4 management people, because that is quick and easy to obtain. And this is incredibly cheap to set up. I would like a big thank you to that Reddit post. That is incredible. I would like to thank the person, except, you don't want a necro post on those things. But very, very useful information. Oh, and management level 2 already. Yeah, like I said, super OP. I'm just going to bank up a few of these, because there's a few more factories we would like to create. So, long term, I kind of want to knock out all of the objectives in this game. So, one of them is the terraforming, which means we're going to need to get our hands on something that is not just hull components and claytronics. We have been surviving entirely on those because that's just a fun way to scrap it. But we will need to get some other parts. So, I figure we set it up in Argon Prime. We're going with an Argon support feature. I was going to do second contact to Flashpoint, but the light levels down there are actually pretty low. They're 59%. And the reach over here, which is only accessible due to the DLC of Timelines, I think, we unlocked this sector, has 367% sunlight. Really good. So I think we'll put solar in here and put a main factory in Argon Prime. And that is within about 4 to 5 jumps of just about every main place we want to be. So this is actually a perfect location. Actually, thematically turns out great. But anyway, in here, in this place, we just want to put down a quick solar plant. And this is the results of the solar plant design. It's pretty straightforward, actually. It starts right here and finishes down the bottom. What you have there is a habitat over there, and then we have a storage container over here, and then the rest of it is all solar panels. So the habitat can store enough people to give bonuses to all of the cell production, or energy cell production, and there's 11 solar panels attached. And then it's just stacked again and again and again. For example, if we just grab that there, copy sequence, and move it across, do we have enough space? What's blocking you? 1 second. Huh. Weird. This one required an extra little spacer between it and the last one. I'll put it in. But this basically means expanding this out is quick, consistent, fast, efficient, and confirmed. Okay, I should probably stop. It requires 54,000 hull parts and 14,000 claytronics. Well, we have most of them already. It's just a case of there's no point getting too far ahead in your production curves. All right, and this place already has a 4-star manager. See, in fact, it's almost a 5-star. Damn. Okay, and over here we stuck in 3 additional factories. I'm going to really briefly go through these. A long time ago. Well, okay, a year ago. It feels like a long time ago. I made up this tutorial on how to split up your factories. And normally what I would do is I would split them into a solids factory, which takes in all of the raw ores and processes them. A liquid factory, same again. And then one factory that makes nothing but hull parts because you need so many of them. Another one that makes mostly also claytronics because, well, you need so many of them. And then a fifth factory that ties everything together to pump out your ships. The sixth factory is food. Well, we already have food. We already have hull parts, we already have claytronics, which means we just needed three factories. One to process all of the solids, one to process all of the liquids, and then a fifth factory that's going to be all the components. Now, this does mean we moved advanced composites, engine parts, and advanced electronics into the fifth factory because there was no hull and claytronics factory. But you know what? It is what it is, and this seems to be working out. With that very brief description aside, this is the solids factory. Basically, all the mining stuff goes in here, and then if we want to expand this out, we'll say grab this at the end. We will copy that sequence and paste it on. I need to actually increase the space in here. Same on the top level. So if we want to increase any particular production, this top line here is one type of production. This is one type of production. Some of them I double down, like I believe this one has two different types of production to it. So this one's scanning arrays and smart chips. They're on the same level. And down at the bottom, we have housing and storage. So we keep increasing the housing and storage as it expands out. What we'll do as well is we'll sort of stretch this out the back and probably put more at the back here as well. But this should just be a case of easily expandable-ish. This is not an economy that runs entirely on two components anymore. But this is all pretty much going to be for terraforming. And a little bit of some of the boron parts, which we'll be getting into shortly. This is all the liquids processing, same thing again, we just stack them on, so like this entire row here is all identical, and we can just keep extending that on. All the rows, pretty much same thing, and it even has housing and storage, similar things again. The everything else factory is everything that doesn't sit in raw processing and storage, so this is all, it only has large storage containers, no solid ones, and this thing is just a smash of everything. For example, drone components. More drone components. That there are shields, turrets, field coils, advanced composites, engine parts, like all just tacked on, higgledy-piggledy, but we're going to extend it out and just keep duplicating it until we start finding bottlenecks, and then we'll just add on more. We have no idea where the bottlenecks are going to be just yet. But these three factories are now all up and running, and then the final one over here is actually just a shipyard. I've put this down just recently, so it's barely started. But this thing here is going to have like small ship fabricators, large ship fabricators, and extra large ship fabricators. And then we're just going to stretch this out further this direction. So keep going back, adding on more fabricators for ship production. And then it has just, well, we're going to put on a lot of storage, like an awful lot of storage and some living space so that people can work all of these machines. And this should just be a case of all of the resources get dropped off here to be turned into ships. And we took care of all of that so that we could get on with the next part of the plan. Missions. So, first mission up. It is for the Terran Protectorate. Sorry, the Terran Protectorate. They are terrible people, but we want to start a war with them. So, they want us to deploy an advanced satellite at this location so that they can extract some spy information. We've done all the previous stuff leading up to it, and we have a katana on the way to drop off that spy satellite. Downsides of this approach. This is where all our food is being produced. And if you haven't looked at the food in a while, this is what the food buffet looks like. It's pretty huge. Takes up a lot of space and churns out a lot of food, and is very active on having ships around it. So, game might be a tad, and I mean just a tad, chuggish in this sector, so you can kind of feel like we're losing frames as we go. Okay. And I think we just have to, deploy an advanced satellite here. This is the ship I decided to go with. It's the Katana. After a bunch of testing, the Katana turns out to be probably one of the better ships in the game for the player ships. I should probably do a little thing on that at some point. But for now, all we're going to do is deploy this advanced satellite. And then probably leave. Yep, it's probably a good idea. Okay. Oh, I have to dock at a platform and bribe a public official. Tuesdays, I tell you. Salmon's Red Office? Okay, let's head to Salmon's Red Office and see what they want. Okay, I'm here about the bribery.
Who are you?
Mutual associates set up a meeting.
Ah, forgive me. My schedule is quite busy. It is easy to lose track in all this administrative madness.
Oh, God.
So, what can I do for you?
Before
bribery?
you try to bribe him, perhaps you should sound him out on some pertinent topics.
Right. Opinion on the Antiguan Republic, Argon Federation, Terran Protectorate. Let's say Argon Federation.
We have had our differences with the Argon government in the past. Initially, they wanted us back in the fold. Antigone Memorial, our home system, was significant to them because of its location and its importance to their data infrastructure. After lengthy talks, we agreed terms, largely because the jump gate shutdown had changed the gate connections, making Antigone Memorial's current position less valuable to the Argon. Both parties eventually realized that there was no way of putting the genie back into the bottle, and there was nothing to gain from fighting amongst ourselves. Not when there's actual enemies at our gates. Now we look out for each other. Politics isn't a zero-sum game after all.
Right, opinion on the Terran Protectorate.
Now, Terran arrogance will come back to haunt us all. It is no secret that historically, relations between the Argon Federation and the Terran authorities have been tense. And more recently, the Terran Protectorate has shown a blatant disregard for Antigone's sovereignty as well. It would pain me to see my people caught in the crossfire between the two factions, should things escalate.
That's what we want. We want things to escalate.
Whoa, hold up a minute there, partner. The satellite has intercepted some encrypted communications between this office and the Argon counter-espionage department. It took me some time to make sense of what I have here, but this is definitely some sort of sting.
Oh.
This guy isn't looking to sell intelligence. He wants to catch Terran interference. Oh, we messed up. Abort this operation.
Yes, what is it you were saying? Are you all right? Leaving already?
Sure thing, buddy. Right.
Oh, that was too close for comfort. I think it's best if we don't stick around.
Okay, we could just teleport halfway across the galaxy, but where's the drama in that? Where are we heading?
Thank you for verifying that this lead was a dead end. It would have been too risky to send one of our own agents.
Oh.
But we had to be sure nonetheless.
You threw
We
us
will
under the
make
bus.
sure we properly compensate you for exposing yourself to these risks once you have completed your task.
Sure you will. Ugh.
The Protectorate suspected something was off about this. They were using us as a proxy, knowing that nothing tangible could be traced back to them.
Genius. I'm not even
Now,
mad.
since we did not obtain any useful intelligence, we will have to approach this from a different angle.
Cool, cool.
Although the Antigone Memorial System now belongs to the Antigone Republic, its major planet, Sandwell, is still under Argon jurisdiction. Sandwell, as hostile an environment as it is host to the biggest data archive in the Argon Federation. Accessing it could unearth invaluable strategic information. It is understandable, therefore, that the security of this underground complex is very tight. Luckily, we won't have to access the planetary archive itself. According to our reports, the Antigone Republic operates a relay station with direct access to the Sandwell archives. It was set up at an undisclosed location to maintain contact between the planetary archives and distant Argon fleets. You will help us find that relay station. Doing so will require a security decryption system with which to hack into Argon systems, as well as an EMP bomb and a spacesuit bomb launcher. I see you already have these items with you. Well done for coming prepared.
Well, I am a Boy Scout, you know. No, I was
Be
never a Boy
careful,
Scout.
though. Most factions don't really.
Okay. All this dialogue is taking way too long. To summarize, in brief, Constipated Face Lady gets us to go to this station, and on the station we do a little bit of light hacking, and then we plant an EMP mine, and then someone comes along to scan it. And then when they fix it, we go to follow them so that we can track them back to their secret lair hideout, and then we have to dodge them dropping satellites and basically crawl our way along. After getting to their super secret high-tech lair, we, give up the whole pretense of following them, and we just land directly on the station, hop out and go have a wander about. And then we try and go down to the server room / engineering room, and it is protected by two people standing about, which I've never seen before. So this is like the first station where they haven't allowed you to just wander in and start hacking everything. So this is definitely a step up on the protection front. Constipated Face Lady is not giving up just yet, but we are going to have to do a couple of side quests for her in the meantime. The first one is we have to get her a ship and then drop it off somewhere. The ship things are actually pretty handy because as long as you buy them from someone, there's now this automatic drop down that fills in all the things for you. You don't have to take a screenshot or write it down and remember what you get put in, so this is actually pretty cool. I then got mildly distracted by a bug infestation and called in the Earl King to take care of it. Part 2 of Constipated Face Lady's Keep Us Busy missions were to build a little hull part factory in Argon Prime to undercut their hull part production, which, I don't know if she noticed, but we have like about 500,000 hull parts stashed in a storage location, like in Silent Witness somewhere. Like, we could undermine their hull part production if we Okay, it's fine. So it was a pretty straightforward, simple build mission, except for one thing. They wanted us to actually build the hull parts using the hull parts building blueprint as opposed to the scrap one, which is like we have literally built millions of hull parts, but we don't actually have the hull part blueprint. So I had to wander off and buy that, which was a weird quirk. The ship she got us to build, she wanted us to drop off at a pirate station, which was surrounded by xenon for some weird reason. They didn't seem aggressive towards the ship, but I wasn't going to take any chances, so I called in the Earl King and mopped up the mess. I don't even know what they were doing here. After successfully completing dropping off the ship and setting up the hull parts factory, you have to actually do some manual settings on it. It's kind of like a bit of a tutorial on how to set up a factory. I think that's what they were doing with that mission. But anyway, after that, Constipated Face Lady invites us to a big powwow meeting of her and her associates. And we wander over, and unfortunately, they don't have medium docking on their ship, which I feel like is like a sizist thing. Like, why can't you have medium docking on your ship? I go everywhere in medium ships, you know. But anyway, we had to literally park in the slipstream of her ship, and then spacewalk to get in, which I feel like is a health and safety violation, but doesn't matter. It's fine. Then we get to meet the people she's working with, and surprise, surprise, they're giant asshats. It's the Scale Plate Pact. See that Taladi lizard-looking guy? Yeah. That guy's a pirate, and he's the exact same pirate who there's a bald homeless guy living on our base station. The guy who calls us the bald squatter. That guy there, that's the guy who this lizard tried to kill at one point because he didn't like him. So yeah, I kind of skipped that storyline mission in earlier on. It was something to do with the head tick plot. Don't worry about it. But basically, that lizard guy tried to kill the bald squatter, who's working for us now, or well, at least squatting on our location and giving us helpful tips in our ear. So we're not too happy to be working with a bunch of pirates, and the plan is blazingly stupid. We're going to go back to the secret lair that has that server farm on it, and we're going to back out a hacking tool they specifically give us for this. The Scale Plate Pact pirates are going to launch an attack on a defense station of all things for no reason, even though it doesn't stock anything that the Scale Plate Pact would want, like supplies, resources. It's like, why would you? It's like seeing pirates attack a military. It's just not a. Whatever. So they'll cause a distraction, which would hopefully get the people out of the hallway, and then we can run in and we can hack the servers and get them all of the information they want on the Argon and the Antiguan Republic. So then the Terran can, division between the two of them and hopefully keep them split up so they're less of a threat against the Terran protectorate. So yeah, that's the plan. And the plan kind of works as laid out. The Scale Plate Pact show up, they start shooting, the station launches its defenses. Oh, and the Scale Plate Pact specifically told us that they told their people to kill everyone getting on or off the station. So, we can't rely on them not shooting us because that would break cover. So we just have to land nice and sneakily, pass by the hallway. Turns out the Marines left, so I don't know. Go stand on the deck and fire rifles at the ships in space. Who knows? Maybe, those Marines just totally wanted to shoot something, you know it. Then we pop in, we get to see a nice server room, which doesn't exist anywhere else in the game as far as I've seen so far. So they had special art assets for this one hacking scene, which is basically we pressed a button, and then we hid behind the console until it was finished. Then we just teleported back to our ship, took off, and then boosted out of there. Our ship has insane travel speed, so we just basically boosted away as quick as we could. At which point, we went back to our home base to talk to the ball squatter guy, because he's our intelligence guy, and he's like, I'm going to give you the 3 options and lay them out for you. So here's how it goes. We'll break it down. 1, the data we got, we destroy it, and we tell Constipated Face Lady that we didn't actually successfully get any data. If you do that, the game map stays the same, nothing changes, and the world just continues on as normal, and you don't get paid. So it's a giant waste of time if you do that, as far as I'm aware. I double-checked on one of the forums just to be sure that I wasn't reading that wrong. The other option is you can give the data to the Constipated Face Lady, and then what she does is she uses that to sow division between the Antiguan Republic and the Argon Federation. And as a consequence, on the game world, those two sides stop trading entirely and they won't trade anymore, which would weaken both of them. Which I don't know why you would want to do that, because there's no benefit for it. Unless you wanted to weaken them versus the Xenon, maybe? Because the Terrans won't attack them. Even though they've weakened them, the Terrans won't attack them. The whole point of that storyline is the Terrans just wanted to weaken them for, so that they couldn't be a threat in the future, and they just want to keep those, keep everyone smaller and broken up. balkanization almost in a way. And then there is the third option, or the middle one on this list, that we're most interested in. And that's where we take all the information we've gotten and we hand it over to the Antiguan Republic guys and we go, hey, the Terran are mucking around in your backyard and they did this elaborate thing to try and get all your data to make you enemies with the Argon Federation. And if we do that, what will happen is the Argon Federation and the Antiguan Republic will become staunch allies and they will both go to war with the Terrans. So the Terrans end up at war with both the Argon and the Antiguan Republic, which is what you would call profitable when you are the person who is selling military grade ships to both of those factions. And as a cherry on top, the Terrans don't know we did it. Your man, the Ball Squatter guy's like, I can make sure that this doesn't get traced back to you in any way. For any of those things, he can make sure it's not traced back to you, he says. So, like, the guy has his uses. That's why we're letting him live rent-free. He's not just he's not even a pretty face, actually. Never mind. But we are, of course, taking the war route. We want the war. The whole point we're doing this is for them to go to war. And I'm hopeful we can find some way of actually expanding the Argon and Antiguan Republic into Terran space. I want to try and wipe out the Terrans, but without actually attacking them directly. I want to do missions for the Argon or feed them ships or build defense platforms for them or something like that and try and push them. I don't know if that's possible, but I really hope it is. However, there is still one last final, just itsy-beansy little thing we have to do before we can get the war started. And that is get the data and physically hand it off to the Antiguan guy. It's the guy we met at the start that we tried to do some bribery with, that was actually part of the Secret Service of the Antiguan Republic. And now he's flying around on a ship that also does not have a medium docking port for our katana. So we had to get into the slipstream of his ship and then do another spacewalk. But hey, who said being a spy was going to be a safe and easy occupation? No one. So yes, we had to spacewalk. Oh, just put some medium docking ports on these things. I'm not going to fly around in a fighter at this stage. But anyway, we talk to this guy. We give him the data. And he's like, cool, I will transmit all this information to my people and stuff. And of course, the moment he does that, some pirates show up because the Terran protectorate lady, the constipated face lady, she's heard some chatter or something and thinks that this guy's got some information. She still doesn't put together that we're the guy feeding him this information, which means she's really not good at her job. Never mind. We're the leak. She hasn't figured it out. That's good for us. We get to keep our right ranking with the Terran protectorate. But anyway, we pop out and we start blasting those the scale plate pack ships because she sends them in to finish this guy off before he can transmit the data. We have 4 beam weapons on our ship, which means 100% accuracy. We don't miss. Of course, the damage is way lower, but the 100% accuracy really makes up for that. Because, if you give me a gun that fires a bunch of bullets, I'm going to miss with over half of them. So give me a weapon that does half the damage, but hits 100% of the time. Much more consistent kills. It's very, well, that, you know what? I'll do a video on medium ships sometime, just to kind of give my philosophy on it. But near the end, it turns out they had a couple of big, heavy ships in theirs, but we had already called in the Earl King, because I sort of called in the Earl King just as everything kicked off, because I thought it might be too dangerous, just in case. Now, the Earl King is really good at killing Xenon ships. It's very fast and efficient. So putting it up against, Terran ship, or not Terran ships, whatever these Commonwealth ships are, Commonwealth destroyers, is like letting a Rottweiler loose in a playground. And not like a playground for teenagers, but like a playground for babies. This was ridiculous. They just it cuts through them like a hot knife through butter. This was unfair on every single level. It's incredible. And just enormous amounts of fun to watch them crumble that way. I really hope that pirate guy who messed over the Bald Squatter was on one of those ships, but I didn't think about that till afterwards. Maybe I should have calmed them and found out. Hopefully he's dead. It would be a nice revenge thing. And that brings us to the present day. We're checking our mail. We can see that 3 minutes ago, this information update came through from the Galaxy Net. The persistent tension between the Argon Federation and the Terran Protectorate have erupted into armed conflict after a renowned blah blah blah. Basically, they've started killing each other. Perfect. Which means, let's check on our sales. Now, if we go over to Argon Prime, we have our ooh, that's a lot of nice stuff. Okay, let's just have a quick look at how our planned build is going. Yeah, all of this has been built since we started that mission. These missions take a little time in the background, so that's why I kind of have to edit them down. Otherwise, it'd just be hours of me flying around the place and dealing with a lot of text. But we have all of this up and running. Downsides is I don't think I have any large ships blueprints I've bought from them. But as long as we get enough money, we can do that. So let's check the transaction logs. For the last... Oh. Okay, so that's in the last hour. We've already sold 40 million in product. 40 million. Ooh. An hour. Yes, I like... Oh, you can see this here. YAK, that's the Yaki. So the Yaki bought Kurakamis, which have since been destroyed because they're hostile to the Argon and they're buying them in Argon space. But thankfully they have infinite money so they can just keep buying them. And the Argon are also buying... Yep, they're also buying Elite Squadron. What's this transfer? Huh. You know what? Doesn't matter. Lot of... Oh, wow. Okay, so... The plan from here on out... Actually, let's check this to others. Oh my god, that's so messy. If you put on other, what it does is it shows you all the things that are going on in terms of... Oh. Wow. That is a lot of things. Oh. Just before we go on... This is Grand Exchange, and in it we have built, well, a Grand Exchange trading station. The one with, that trades a little bit of everything. The whole purpose of this thing is just to be, well, a bunch of storage containers with some docks so that traders can trade here. And we've just set it to default. As in, we said trade in this stuff, but you can set the prices yourself. Not exactly as profitable as you would like. In the last 13 minutes, there's been this many trades. Like, it is incredibly fast, the amount of trades that go on. And in the last 30 minutes, they've got this much. Let's see the last hour. So in the last hour, we've made about 3 million. Like, this is going to go up and down a lot, but this helps to stimulate the economy, and at the same time, it has turned the person running this place into a, I want to say 5-star. Yeah, they are now 5-star management, which means all traders now can reach 5 stars of range, or 5 jumps. And considering its location, it's just perfect for stimulating all of the economy around this area, which is good, because we want this economy as strong as possible to deal with the Terran protectorate when they come in. Ooh. And we chucked down, where is it? Yes, this is a defense platform. You can even see the little dish we put at the back so that we've got massive view range. Only we'll see the Terran protectorate coming. We also stuck another one, was it this side? Over this side, on the opposite side of the Terran protectorate. Is this one finished? Oh, must not be. I made them incredibly oversized, just to be 100% safe. But yeah, that'll be set up in Neptune, and worst case scenario, we can go to war with the Terrans if they start to get a little bit too antsy in their pants. But realistically, what we want to do is just stimulate the Argon defense industrial base. We want them to buy as much of our stuff as they possibly can. Oh, wow. There's a lot of junk. I really need to clean this up, but the problem is there's so much stuff that you can't hide in fleets, which is why your property-owned section starts to get a little bit mental. Like, these are just station holders, just so I can teleport to those stations when I need to. These are Tatuyas that are going around refining down scrap. These are the bouncy Moiras that are generating our management consultants. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think I've changed them out in a while. How are you doing? 5 stars? And you're almost 5 stars as well. Okay, so we have a couple of more 5-star traders that we can dump into locations if needs be. But yes, the plan. The plan, very simple. We're just going to let the Argon buy a whole butt-ton of ships off us. And right now, we don't have the blueprints for their larger ships. But that's fine. With the way the money is pouring in through this section right here, and with all the transactions they're making, we'll quickly be able to afford enough to be able to buy the large ships. And once we can buy the large ships, they can start buying them here as well. And we're going to have to buy all the equipment for them, but that's all expensive. It's like you're going to be spending about $1 billion just to get all the large and extra large ships being able to produced here. There is a few minor inconveniences here and there that we'll take care of, like, for example, over at this shipyard, which I should probably point out. Look at this. We've been adding on extra production capacity here. The Terrans can buy from here as well. So I'm hoping they will just, like, flood, or say the Argon can buy from here as well. So I'm hoping they'll flood areas. The problem they face is workforce. We're not actually bringing in enough food rations for these guys. So first of all, I gave them better managers so that the managers can jump more distance and hopefully get to the food place. But what I really discovered was this location down here, the food buffet. They have plenty of food. I just didn't assign them enough ships. They only have about 10 cargo ships working for them. I figure we load this place up with cargo ships and that would sort the problem out. So the easiest thing to do is just pop over to Avarice, our old faithful here, go to build ships, and medium ships build the fastest. I've got a bunch of Barbarossas building, but for now, to get them going, these Demeter Vanguard transports, we could just chuck down a bunch of those. And by a bunch, I mean, say, give us 40. And all we'll do is we'll wait till they're built, which shouldn't take that long. Whew. Yeah. Okay, so once those 40 are built, we'll just assign them out to the food buffet, and then the food buffet should force food to all of the places that need them. Food buffet now has a lot of Demeter Vanguards that are trying to force food and medical supplies out to all of our locations, which is good. 40 of them might not be able to keep up, but hey, worst case scenario, we'll just assign another 40. We check over here at this shipyard that wasn't getting any food. How you doing now? Okay, you have 2 ships bringing food, 2 ships bringing medical supplies. We're going to need more than that, guys. We're going to need more than that. I might have to assign out another 40 ships. I'll give it 20 minutes and see if it evens out. How are you looking? You were having similar problems. Okay, you got 4 Barbarossas coming in with 80,000 food. That makes more sense to me. Excellent, excellent. You guys are finally starting to catch up. Next up, the plan was to do a bunch more missions, but basically abbreviate them. Same as I did with the last one. Cut out a lot of the dialogue and just summarize what's going on, because a lot of these are just, well, they do some changes to the map, but this one would give us access to boron technology, and they have the best supercarrier in the game, and I figure we gain access to it and build a few supercarriers just to stomp around in them. It would be fun. I mean, we gotta kill some time while we're waiting for all of this industry in Argon Prime to build up so that we can knock out all the terraforming. So I figure we plow through these missions at high speed and summarize them as quickly as possible. Anyway, I'm gonna cut this out here. I hope you enjoyed it. Good luck.